My world fell apart back in January 2017. It's not a place that you can recognise when it's actually happening to you. In 2016 I wrote a book. I knew something was not right. I was staying up really late at night, and that wasn't me. It was as if I was getting this energy from the cosmos, like a sage writing through me. Of course, I made up a lot of the story, but the underlying message was regenerative farming. I didn't even know regenerative farming existed back then, but there was something deeper in me that was shaken, and I didn't know what was about to happen. And like I said, in January 2017, I broke. I spent 4 days flat on my back, no air conditioning, 37 degrees, sweating, dehydrating, with excruciating pain in the base of my skull and my frontal lobe. Did I think I was going to die? No. Did I think I wasn't going to get back up again? No. Did I ever question why this was happening to me? No. We've all been through things in life. Life is not smooth sailing. I understand that. And you have to take the good times, enjoy those good times, be euphoric if you can, because you know round the corner things can change in a heartbeat. It was very difficult, lying there, staring up at the ceiling. Sometimes different ceilings depending on where I was lying. Sometimes it was the clouds. I sat in the psychologist's room and I said, after about 20 minutes, "Do you mind if I lie on the floor?" And the look on the psychologist's face was of shock. She said, "Yes, of course." So I laid on the floor and continued my session. It was an hour-long session. That was when I got out of hospital. I remember saying to the nurse, "I feel so sad. I'm not depressed. I've suffered with depression before. This is not depression. I'm just sad. Would you like to go and see a counsellor?" Yes, I think that's a good idea." "Do you want to go home?" No. I need to be in here for as long as possible." I knew I needed to be able to get out of bed, walk down the corridor of the hospital, get outside and put my face under the sun. That was what I was aiming for. And on the 8th day, the specialist came. He looked at my empty room and said, "She's able to go home now." So the absolute impossible happened. Tamsin broke. There were comments from the parents of the children I was teaching to ride, because I'd had my business for about 7 years back then. I vividly remember this one parent saying, "Out of everyone I know, Tamsin, you're the last person I thought this would happen to." And I looked at her and probably raised my eyebrows. "You're the strongest person I know," she said. "Yeah, I know. I thought something has to be done. There's a reason I'm in this position. There's a reason I've had an autoimmune disease, and there's a reason I'm feeling so much pain. And just to clarify, I believe my body reset itself when I broke. Because I kept vomiting, I couldn't take the medication for my hypothyroidism, which is Graves' disease. I fasted for those 4 days, of course, because I couldn't hold anything down. I could hardly get out of bed. On top of the pain, I had chronic dizziness. My head was spinning. I believe my body reset itself. My hypothalamus talked to my pituitary gland, and that talked to my thyroid. Everything about fasting, about starving my body, had this beautiful way of rebuilding, restarting, rebooting. And the noise of Wall-E. If you've ever seen Wall-E, the movie, the robot who's clearing up the human rubbish, it's my favourite movie because stupid humans had to live in space as they destroyed Mother Earth, and no plants could grow, no food could be produced. Wall-E is this endearing little robot that got left behind on Earth to clear up our rubbish. He used to have to stand outside and put his solar panels out in the sun every morning. And I remember that classic noise of the Apple Mac computer starting up or rebooting. Whenever I hear that noise, I think about my body healing itself. I hear that sound in my mind and it makes me smile. I vowed to myself that I was going to get back on my feet. And the first goal I set myself was to go to a Nutrisoil event on their farm down in Barranduda, Victoria. This meant that, laden with painkillers and a very confused and vulnerable Tamsin, I flew down to Victoria. I hired a car and drove a couple of hours. I sat there in a room full of strangers. I listened to Dr. Christine Jones talking about regenerative farming, and I was astounded. I had no idea farming had changed as much as it had. It was then that I realised that I'd actually written about regenerative farming back in 2016. The broken water cycles, the bare ground, and Mother Nature screaming at the reader to change their ways. But as my life chugged along, 2017, 2018, 2019, it wasn't until then that I realised I'd actually written my future. This book, what the sage was telling me, was my future. I haven't shown this whole book to anyone. Only a select few have seen the first couple of chapters because I really need to tidy it up as best I can, not being a writer, but enjoying writing all the same. So that's what I thought. Well, maybe I could open the book here on Substack and start to publish some of these chapters. I'm only dabbling with that idea, so please don't hold your breath. The main reason I've chosen Substack, though, and I thought I would open up the podcast with a little bit of a storytelling session, is because the multi-species farming is a new branch of farming revolution. Going back to 2019, I knew something had to be done, but I didn't know what. I thought I've got to start somewhere, so I built the website with the help of my friend Kim McKee of Key Websites. She's an outstanding website designer, and I've called on her services again this year because we have 4 conferences over 4 weeks next March. There's a landing page on my website, farmingrevolution.com.au, and even if you're not interested in conferences or retreats or events or field days, go and have a look. Because most of you have been here from day one, most of you signed up from the home page on the website. You wanted to watch the video, the documentary I made of soil and seed. Now you're able to fully immerse yourselves in this new adventure. See how far I've come in 6 years. I've set goals, I put one foot in front of the other. I don't give up. I fail a lot, but every time I fail, I learn, I acknowledge it, I accept it, I move on. I'm always thinking, but most of all, I have found people who are absolutely on the same path as me. Older, younger, doesn't matter. When I say multi-species farming to them, they get it instantly. There is no explanation needed. Multi-species farming is about animals, plants, humans, microorganisms, and everything that ties us together. Sunlight, water, nutrient cycles, landscape function, covering the ground at all time, minimal soil disturbance. All of these things ultimately increase the biodiversity on every single level. Regeneration is about improving what you have as much as you can with what you've got in this moment in time. That is what being regenerative really means. Even more importantly, have a look at yourself. Know that there is a point in time when things stop, when illnesses and diseases set in, when you may find yourself crippled in one way or another, but it's normally through pain. And understand this, do not look back. Understand you will get out of it, but you have to do the work. You have to put one step in front of the other. Your mind has to be channeled into regeneration. Your land is a reflection of you, your family, your friends. The society and our planet is a reflection of you and me and everybody else. No good is ever going to come from us not improving or moving forward. We need to give each other a leg up, just like you're getting onto the back of a horse. Everybody at some point in their life needs a hand to steady themselves, to lift them up. I'm not talking about giving someone a hand out. That doesn't help them in the long run. I'm talking about a meritocratic society, one based on hard work and compassion towards our fellow human beings. This means we are here to help each other. We're here for each other. A meritocracy based on merit, freedom, fairness, and truth, where our foundations are rock solid and the pillars of strength stand strong. But we cannot be strong when we do not understand our weaknesses. These we need to address. There are 7 pillars of integrity: physical, mental, spiritual, emotional, intellectual, cultural, familial. Lean into these pillars and find which one needs work. Only you can do this. Look deep within yourself and recognize where your problems or limitations are. Then write a paragraph explaining to yourself how you need to change, how you can improve and strengthen these foundations. There is one more area, not necessarily a pillar, but an area that will be heavily influenced by the 7 pillars, the financial aspect. That's the one that joins all of these together. How are you with money? Money is not the root of all evil. It is only evil if you are dysfunctional in these 7 pillars. In the right hands, we can do so much good. So let's focus on being financially successful and prosperous. I set up a membership channel on YouTube. It is still open, but I'm not focusing on it like I was because there was something missing. Intimacy. I thought that might have been too strong a word to use, but I'm standing by it. I've just realised the intimacy is about those 7 pillars. The intimacy that I believe I'm searching for is more about interaction. It's about a closeness with words, with storytelling. It's about lifting other people's spirits so that they can succeed. You can become the person that you might not even believe is possible. When we set boundaries, we cannot cross those boundaries. It's like building a fence to contain our animals. There is a way we can manage these, of course, but for our own well-being, we need to bulldoze those fences in our minds. Take down those boundaries. Know that there are no limits. There are simply no limits. It's the difference between being able or being capable. We're all able to do something, but are we actually capable? This leads us on to my language sessions. Don't think you've heard this before because this is coming from me, a creative person that has seen so many people stumble and fall because their perception gets in the way. And this is where perception versus perspective. Your perception on something may be completely skewed, completely biased, completely interfered with. It's like when you meet somebody for the first time and then your friend says that they don't particularly like them. Straight away they've ruined it for you. You were open to receive and they've shut the door. No, they don't like them, so there must be something wrong with them. That's what I want to avoid. To have a supple and flexible mindscape means you put things into perspective. Leave your perceptions behind. By opening up with language sessions with just 2 words allows people's minds to derail off their usual track. I'm using it as an interference to the norm, and it could be something like procrastination versus avoidance. We use procrastination as a negative place to be, but is it? That's how I opened up the live session with Stuart Andrews, Karen Jarling and Kevin Elmy. The topic was landscape function, because I believe that we do need to procrastinate. But when it becomes an avoidance technique, that's when it becomes malicious and negatively affects our attempts at success. And we don't want procrastination to be malicious. We want procrastination to be our friend. These podcasts are definitely going to be different. It's a chance for you to contemplate without prejudice and ultimately enjoy these stories. Understand that I'm coming from a pure place, a place where I need and want everybody to be successful. There is absolutely no judgment from me. Multi-species farming is the start of something brand new. Substack is a place where I can express what multi-species farming is. It gives me a chance to introduce you to people who understand where I'm coming from and who are on board and joining this farming revolution. And maybe by the time that you have listened for the next 9 months, maybe you'll say to yourself, you know what? I'm going to sign up and go to those conferences. The multi-species conferences, one in the first week, second week, third week and fourth week of March next year, 2026. Click on the link below and it'll take you to the landing page where you will be introduced to Kevin Elmy, Rochelle Armstrong and Dean Bentley. We all have gifts to give. Kevin has a really deep knowledge of what plants you need in your system, what multi-species you need in your context for your farming business. In the 8 years I've been learning about regenerative farming, I have never heard of anyone with the depth of knowledge Kevin has in his chosen field of expertise. We are usually told, just plant a multi-species. And for all of us, that just isn't enough information. Kevin's intimacy is the depth of his personality and knowledge to fully explain what is needed on your farm. Rochelle has trained for years to become an in-depth business coach, and with her farming background is able to channel her coaching techniques straight to the farm door. She has an intimacy that reflects a care factor not often seen, one that focuses on you and you alone. You're not just a number, you are a person. Dean Bentley has the most intricate way of figuratively wrapping his arms around you to make you feel secure. In his company, you simply trust the man. You feel safe, and there's an unwritten understanding he radiates compassion. There is definitely intimacy with Dean. Then there's me, tying everyone and everything together, holding space for us all to achieve our goals, to make sense of multi-species farming, and to get the best out of our businesses. Intimacy for me is about time and effort spent. There is nothing superficial about multi-species farming. The four of us combined creates a beautiful synergy, an aura of attraction, and intimacy for our emotional, mental, spiritual and intellectual pillars to grapple with life. Where the 7 pillars, once balanced and connected, rebuild those foundations so we are strong. This is the way forward. This is for the greater good. So thank you for subscribing, and if you haven't subscribed to Substack, then click on the link below. Most of all, thank you for listening. Thank you for being here, being part of this farming revolution, because 2019 feels a very long time ago. And I'm here to learn. I'm here to learn off you. We're here to bounce ideas off each other. That's what it's all about. It's an intimacy through storytelling. This is the Multi-Species Farming Podcast, brought to you by Tamsin Ravel from the magical land of Oz.